Millford, Rhode Island. Population 4,212. The same small town where kids used to catch crayfish in summer and skate on the frozen river in winter, until the river started giving them cancer. Tuesday, March 18, 2025. Providence Municipal Court, 10:07 a.m. The gallery was standing room only. Mothers in hoodies, with photos of their children pinned to their chests. Fathers with red-rimmed eyes. A row of teenagers wearing yellow Livestrong-style bracelets that read, Millford 34. At the plaintiff's table sat Michael Ricci, 52 years old, master electrician, hands that once fixed every broken thing in town, now shaking so hard he couldn't button his only suit jacket. In front of him, a single 8x10 photograph of his son, Luca, age 9, smiling gap-toothed in a Red Sox cap, taken 3 weeks before the leukemia diagnosis. Before we go any deeper into this courtroom, if you're a parent, or you just believe corporations should never be allowed to poison children for profit, hit subscribe and the like button right now. We're a new channel, and stories this dark need light. Every subscription helps us keep telling them. The bailiff's voice cracked when he read the case. Civil Action 2025-1189. Ricci et al. V. Crawford Chemical Corporation. Class action for criminal negligence, wrongful death, and environmental damages. Michael stood. His knees almost gave out. He placed Luca's photo on the rail the way other people place Bibles. Judge Frank Caprio entered, black robe swaying, and immediately the room went still. 37 years on the bench, but even he paused when he saw the yellow bracelets. Mr. Ricci, the judge said, voice gentle. Whenever you're ready, sir. Michael's words came out raw, like gravel. Your Honor, my boy Luca was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia on June 12, 2023. He weighed 72 pounds the day we walked into Hasbro Children's Hospital. By Thanksgiving, he was 41 pounds. He died in my arms on December 4, 2024, 3 months ago today. He was 9 years and 4 months old. A voice from the back row finished the sentence for him, soft but clear. And 33 other kids from our town are either fighting cancer right now or already buried. The speaker was Sarah Donovan, mother of 7-year-old Ava, currently in remission, but missing both legs below the knee from bone tumors. Judge Caprio looked at the gallery, then back at Michael. 34 children, Your Honor, Michael continued, voice breaking. In 5 years. In a town this size, doctors say we should see 1, maybe 2 cases in a decade. 34. Every single one of them drank the water, swam in the river, fished the same spots we did when we were kids. The EPA tested the Blackstone River downstream from Crawford Chemical in January. Benzene levels 412 times the legal limit. Hexavalent chromium 387 times. Vinyl chloride off the charts. All known to cause exactly the cancers killing our kids. He lifted a folder with trembling hands. Crawford Chemical has been dumping untreated waste into that river for 20 years. 20. They saved $8 million a year by not disposing of it properly. $8 million a year times 20. That's $160 million in their pocket. And my son paid for it with his life. The courtroom was silent except for quiet sobbing. Michael opened the folder and laid out photographs one by one. Hospital beds, bald heads, tiny caskets. The last photo was Luca's grave. Fresh dirt. A teddy bear half buried in snow. I'm not a simple electrician, Your Honor. I fix wires. I don't understand how a man can look at numbers like that and still sleep at night. But William Crawford is coming in here today to tell you there's no direct proof. The river killed our children. He's going to say it's coincidence. He's going to say his factory employs 200 people. He's going to say he built that company with his own 2 hands. Michael's voice finally shattered. I built my son's coffin with my own 2 hands." A woman in the second row let out a sound like a wounded animal. Judge Caprio removed his glasses, wiped his eyes without shame, then looked toward the empty defense table. "Mr. Crawford hasn't arrived yet," he said quietly. "But when he does, he's going to have to look at these pictures. And he's going to have to look at you, Mr. Ricci." Little did William Crawford know, as he finished his espresso in the parking garage downstairs, that by the end of this day he would lose everything he spent 40 years building, and the river would finally get its justice. But first, the man who saved $8 million a year was about to walk through those doors. The side door opened at 10:19 a.m., and William J. Crawford walked in like he was entering his own country club. 67 years old, 6'1", full head of salon-perfect silver hair, navy Brioni suit, handmade on Savile Row, $48,000. White contrast collar shirt with his monogram in burgundy thread, Charvet Paris, $850. Tie the color of fresh $100 bills, Hermes silk, $295. On his left wrist, platinum Rolex Daytona Rainbow with factory-set baguette sapphires, retail $650,000, though he'd bought it at auction for $1.2 million just to flex. Italian crocodile loafers, Berluti, $3,200. Net worth, according to last year's Forbes Rhode Island. Rich list, $250 million exactly. He didn't look at the parents, didn't glance at the yellow bracelets, didn't acknowledge Luca's smiling photograph. He simply placed a $12,000 Hermes briefcase on the defense table, opened it, and removed a single Montblanc fountain pen like he was about to sign a merger, not face 34 grieving families. Judge Caprio watched him settle in. "Mr. Crawford," the judge said, voice quiet but carrying to the back row. "You're representing Crawford Chemical Corporation personally today?" Crawford gave the small, practiced smile that worked on senators. "That's correct, Your Honor. 40 years I built this company from nothing. I felt it only right to appear myself. If the arrogance dripping off this man is already making your blood boil, smash that like button and subscribe right now. We're just getting started, and stories like this one need every single view." Judge Caprio turned to Michael Ricci. "Mr. Ricci was just telling us that 34 children in Millford have been diagnosed with rare cancers in 5 years, that the EPA found carcinogens in the Blackstone River at 400 times the legal limit, and that those toxins match the exact waste profile of your plant. Your response?" Crawford didn't stand. He leaned back in the leather chair the bailiff had quietly brought for him. "Your Honor, with respect, correlation is not causation. Children get sick. Tragic, yes. But leukemia clusters happen. Look at Fallon, Nevada in the 90s. Look at Woburn, Massachusetts before that. Sometimes it's just bad luck. My plant employs 211 local people. Average salary $78,000 a year. Benefits, pensions. We put Millford on the map. You want to destroy 4 decades of legacy over a coincidence?" Michael Ricci's face went white. "Coincidence?" he whispered, then louder. "My son drank water from the same tap his whole life. Swam in that river every summer. And you call it coincidence?" Crawford turned, looked at Michael for the first time, and actually smirked, just a flicker at the corner of his mouth. "Mr. Ricci, I'm truly sorry for your loss, but feelings don't change science. Show me one peer-reviewed study that says Crawford Chemical caused even a single case. You can't, because it doesn't exist." Michael's hand slammed the table. "I can show you 34 graves and hospital beds." The gallery erupted. Mothers were sobbing. One father stood up shouting, "You poisoned our kids for money!" The bailiff moved, but Judge Caprio held up one hand. Silence fell like a curtain. "Mr. Crawford," the judge said, voice dangerously calm, The EPA report says your facility saved approximately $8 million annually by bypassing proper hazardous waste disposal. That correct? Crawford shrugged. Proper disposal is expensive. We optimized processes. That's business. Optimized, Judge Caprio repeated. For 20 consecutive years, $160 million in savings. While downstream, 34 children got cancer. Again, Your Honor, no direct proof. Michael couldn't take it anymore. He opened another folder and slid photographs across the aisle. Hospital photos. Luca after chemo. Skin gray. Eyes sunken. Ava Donovan with both legs amputated. Little Mason Silva, age 6, brain tumor the size of a lemon. Crawford glanced down, then looked away. The smirk came again, smaller this time, almost involuntary. Michael saw it. His voice broke completely. You're smiling. My boy is dead, and you're smiling. Crawford recovered fast. I'm not smiling, Mr. Ricci. I'm maintaining composure in a difficult situation. Emotions cloud judgment. Judge Caprio leaned forward. Let me understand something. You saved $8 million a year, $8 million, by dumping untreated benzene, chromium-6, and vinyl chloride straight into the river that feeds an entire town. And when a father shows you pictures of what that did to his 9-year-old son, you smirk? I did no such thing, Your Honor. The court reporter's fingers froze on the keys. You could hear the click of Crawford's Rolex as he checked the time. If Judge Caprio's compassion has ever moved you, drop a like right now and subscribe. We're about to watch a $250 million empire crumble in real time. Judge Caprio stared at Crawford for a long, cold second. Mr. Crawford, he said at last, in my 37 years on this bench, I have never seen a colder display than the one you just gave. But before I rule on anything, I want to be sure the record is complete. He lifted a thick sealed envelope marked EPA Criminal Division, eyes only. I took the liberty of having this delivered this morning. Sealed indictments, internal memos, whistleblower statements, all time-stamped. Crawford's tan faded 3 shades. Judge Caprio slid the sealed EPA envelope across the bench, broke the red wax seal with his thumb, and pulled out a stack of documents thick enough to make the court reporter lean forward. Mr. Crawford, he said, voice low. These are criminal indictments, signed yesterday by the U.S. Attorney for the District of Rhode Island. 20 counts of knowing endangerment, 20 counts of illegal disposal of hazardous waste, 1 count for each year you saved your $8 million. But before we open them in court, I want the families to hear the truth from people who worked for you. He nodded to the bailiff. The side door opened again. First came Thomas Almeida, 58 years old, former maintenance supervisor at Crawford Chemical, 29 years on the job. Cheap navy blazer from Men's Warehouse, $149. Tie too short, hand scarred from acid burns. He walked straight to the witness chair without looking at Crawford. Mr. Almeida, Judge Caprio said, tell the court what you told the EPA last month. Thomas cleared his throat. In 2005, Mr. Crawford called 6 of us into his office, said proper waste disposal was cutting margins, told us to start running the effluent line straight into the river after midnight, said if anyone asked, we were recycling, gave us each a $10,000 bonus every Christmas to keep quiet. I took the money. I needed it for my own kids' braces. But when I saw Luca Ricci's obituary last year, same age as my grandson, I couldn't sleep anymore. Crawford shot up. He's lying. Disgruntled employee. Fired for... Sit down, Mr. Crawford, Judge Caprio snapped. The room had never heard him raise his voice before. Crawford sat. Next came Dr. Elena Patel, pediatric oncologist from Hasbro Children's Hospital, white coat over her sari, folder full of charts. She didn't wait to be sworn. She just started talking. Your Honor, the cluster in Millford is the worst I've seen in 20 years of practice. 34 cases, 29 leukemias, 5 brain tumors. The benzene metabolites in their blood match Crawford Chemical's exact production signature to 6 decimal places. This isn't coincidence. This is causation. These children absorbed carcinogens every time they drank a glass of water or took a bath. She laid a map on the overhead projector. Red dots for every sick child. All downstream, not one upstream. Then Sarah Donovan walked to the front carrying her daughter Ava's prosthetic legs, pink with unicorn stickers, size child medium. She set them on the rail next to Luca's photograph. Ava was 7 when they took her legs, Sarah said, voice shaking. Bone cancer from chromium-6. She asked me if the river was mad at her for swimming too much. I didn't have an answer. Crawford stared at the tiny prosthetics. For the first time, the Rolex slipped down his wrist like it suddenly weighed too much. Judge Caprio opened the indictments and began reading aloud. Internal memo, January 12, 2018, from William J. Crawford to CFO. EPA sniffing again. Increase midnight discharges until further notice. Cost of compliance, $8.4 million this year. Cost of fines if caught, maybe $2 million and a slap. Do the math. He turned the page. Email chain 2022. Crawford to plant manager. Leukemia stories in the journal. Bad optics. Donate 50K like to the hospital gala so they stay quiet. Another page. 2024, 3 months ago. Crawford to legal. If the Ricci boy dies, offer the family $750,000 hush money. Cheaper than shutting the pipe. Michael Ricci let out a sound that wasn't human. Judge Caprio looked up. Mr. Crawford, you have anything to say? Crawford tried. His voice came out small. I built jobs. I built a community. Dr. Patel interrupted. You built coffins. Small ones. The gallery was sobbing openly now. Someone started praying in Portuguese. Judge Caprio put the documents down and looked straight at Crawford. In my 37 years on this bench, I have never seen evil wear a $48,000 suit so comfortably. But today, the suit comes off. He turned to the U.S. Marshal standing by the door. Take Mr. Crawford into custody. Remand without bail. We'll set sentencing after the criminal trial, but this court is prepared to recommend life without parole. The marshal moved. Crawford stood frozen as the cuffs clicked. Real steel on $250 million wrists. If this moment just broke your heart and lit a fire in you at the same time, show it. Hit that like button and subscribe. Because what happened next changed environmental law forever. The marshal's handcuffs closed with a sharp metallic snap that cut through the crying like a blade. William Crawford didn't struggle. The $650,000 Rolex scraped against the steel as his arms were pulled behind his back. Judge Frankcaprio waited for the sound to fade, then spoke the sentence everyone in that courtroom had waited years to hear. William Joseph Crawford, on the civil claims before this court, judgment is entered for the plaintiffs in the amount of $500 million. Every dollar you saved, every dollar you earned, every dollar you ever hid. Crawford Chemical Corporation is dissolved effective immediately. All assets, the plant, the patents, the vacation homes in Nantucket and Aspen, the offshore accounts in the Caymans, are seized today and placed into the Blackstone River Children's Health Trust. The fund will pay every medical bill, every funeral, every college tuition for the siblings left behind, and lifetime care for the 33 surviving children. Michael Ricci dropped to his knees right there at the plaintiff's table, forehead pressed against Luca's photograph. Crawford finally found his voice. Your Honor, I'm 67 years old. That's a death sentence. Judge Caprio looked at him without a trace of pity. Mr. Crawford, Luca Ricci was 9. Ava Donovan was 7 when they took her legs. 34 children never got the chance to be 67. Life without parole in the ACI is the closest thing to justice this court can give them. The gallery exploded. Mothers were hugging strangers. Fathers were shouting, "Thank you, Judge," through tears. Someone started singing Amazing Grace in a cracked voice, and half the room joined in. 6 months later, September 2125, the Crawford chemical plant is gone. In its place, a riverside park with a stone memorial wall carved with 34 names and the words, "They played here." The water in the black stone runs clear for the first time in 2 decades. Fish are coming back. Kids are swimming again. The Blackstone River Children's Health Trust now holds $512 million after liquidation. Every family received an average of $14.7 million. Michael Ricci used part of his share to build a new pediatric oncology wing at Hasbro Children's Hospital, the Luca Ricci Wing, bright blue walls, PlayStations in every room, and a window that looks out on the clean river. Thomas Almeida, the whistleblower, got a full pardon and a new job training environmental compliance officers. He visits the memorial every Sunday with his grandson. And William Crawford? He's inmate 47892 at the Adult Correctional Institutions in Cranston. Cell Block C, top bunk. No more Brioni suits. Orange jumpsuit, size large. The Daytona Rainbow was auctioned for $1.1 million and paid for 2 more pediatric beds. He eats prison food 3 times a day and hasn't seen a golf course since the morning he walked into court. Because of this case, Congress passed the Crawford Act in July 2025. Any company caught knowingly discharging Class 1 carcinogens faces automatic criminal liability for every diagnosed illness downstream. No more limited liability. No more hiding behind shell corporations. 23 states have already adopted versions of the law. The river got justice. The children got justice. And 34 names on a stone wall will never be forgotten. If this story hit you in the soul the way it hit everyone in that courtroom, if you believe no amount of money justifies poisoning innocent kids, then do 3 things right now. Hit that subscribe button. We're a brand new channel fighting for stories exactly like this one. Smash the like so this reaches every parent, every person who still believes corporations aren't above the law. And comment below with your city and the word Blackstone. Let's show the world we stand with Millford, with Luca, with Ava, with every single one of the 34. Because as long as judges like Frank Caprio are on the bench and fathers like Michael Ricci refuse to stay silent, evil doesn't get the last word. The river is clean again, and that's what real justice looks like. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.